As the song goes, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play today. It is opening day 2019 of the baseball season, and my beloved Red Sox are coming off the World Series win. So, coming into this season, the favorites, which just I can't even express. Now, if you were born in the last 20 years, you might hate the Red Sox because they win a lot, but they didn't for a really long time. And 1919 was like the last one until the 2000s. And I still have this weird excitement and anticipation and nervousness because it doesn't still feel quite real that we actually reversed the curse after 86 years. But what we're going to talk today about, just because it's fun and it is opening day, are my favorite baseball movies of all time. Because everyone's got a list, and I don't agree with it. Like most things on the internet, everyone has an opinion, and everyone should, because you have different reasons why you love different movies. So, for the actual kind of understanding of some theory of the game and mechanics and just how really amazing it is that there's about 830 people, I'm gonna have to say men because they've all been men so far, but about 800 or so men that get the opportunity to play Major League Professional Baseball every year. And they are, you would expect, the best of the best of the best. Like, they can choose from pretty much anyone, as long as you're a man, in the world at this point. You know, they have coaching and scouting clinics in Africa now. They've had them in South and Central America for years. They have them in Asia. It's a thing. Like, everybody wants this dream. And, you know, we've talked about in other videos how girls have this dream too, and it's a dream denied, a dream disallowed, and that's something that we're working to change. But not to get too off topic. So, I obviously make documentaries, and so I like documentaries. And I did have occasion to see both knuckleball and fastball, which, if you are interested in sort of the, it's not even minutia, it's just like digging deep into like how hard it is to throw a knuckleball. How is it that there are like 3 people that can do it? And, well, if you count the 2 women I know that can do it, then there's 5. Which you would think, if I were a Major League Baseball team, here's some free advice, Major League Baseball teams on opening day, if I was the owner or the manager of a Major League Baseball team, I would start looking for women who can come into the game in a high pressure situation, say the 6th or 7th inning, and I got to get this one guy out. And I'm going to come in with my trick pitch, with my screwball, with my knuckleball, with my off-speed stuff. And they're not going to know what's going to happen because they don't see me very much. They're not expecting it. They're probably going to think I'm going to throw like a 60-mile-an-hour grapefruit over there, and they're going to hit a home run, and they're going to win the game. But I could be super crafty. So, if I were a major league owner, manager, somebody with some power, I would start looking for these girls who are playing Little League, who can throw these pitches, and start cultivating their talent and giving them opportunities. So when I bring them on my team, it's like, oh, okay. And not only are they going to help you get that guy out, which is going to help you win games, which is going to help you win championships, but you are going to basically get every female fan to now root for your team. I'll tell you right now, I have been a Red Sox fan my entire life. Like, it almost wasn't a choice. It's so programmed into me, my DNA. However, if the Oakland A's sign a woman, I'm going to be an Oakland A's fan. I can't even pretend. I live in Los Angeles. I would love for the Angels or the Dodgers to be bold and be all Branch Rickey and sign the female Jackie Robinson, and I would be the most crazy fan that I would be there all the time. I might even buy season tickets. And I am not alone. I believe the study I saw, or the statistics I saw, is like 42% of Major League Baseball fans are women. And the most that we normally get is a sparkly hat or a pink t-shirt. And we really just want clothes that fit, of our team colors with our team logo on them. That's all we want, really. And, you know, We don't want to get our nails painted, and we don't want to taste flavored vodka, and we don't want to take our pictures with cutouts of players of the team, which they do for these women's night things sometimes, which is insane. We want to be fans of our team and wear stuff that fits. And gosh, what if we could see ourselves on the field? What if we were sitting in the stands going, that could have been me 20 years ago, that could have been me, but it could be my daughter, it could be my granddaughter, it could be my niece. That's some friggin' powerful stuff right there, I'm telling you. And there's no PR firm, no ads you can buy, nothing that is going to compare to that. Suddenly everyone is going to be watching your games, and women are going to cross over and become fans. You're going to create new fans. Women who maybe didn't care about baseball before because it doesn't speak to them are suddenly going to care. Just saying, some free tips here. So MLB Commissioner's Office, MLB people that are looking at diversity, this is something you should seriously be thinking about because it's not that crazy. Now, I'm not saying, I can hear it already, oh, women can't compete with men. Of course, not all women can compete with all men, but most men can't compete with these men. So is it seriously that crazy to think there's 2 or 3 women on the entire planet that could? No, it's not that crazy because there are small men and big women, and there are, big women. It's possible. So they just need to, kind of remove the blinders that say men, 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 and just start looking at women. Okay, so now I'm not talking about movies. So movies, after my free idea that I really hope that they take me up on in my lifetime, maybe in the next 5 years, because I could introduce you to women, because I know them from making my film, that are capable of this. Again, nobody's walking off the street doing this, but girls that have been playing baseball, just like boys have been playing baseball, but just get overlooked by the scouting system. So, movies, here's my list. So, I've got documentaries on there, ones that people probably haven't heard of as much. So there's Fastball, and there's Knuckleball, which you should really check out. And then This Old Cub, which is about the first, I might get it wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right, the first Major League Baseball player, maybe even the first professional athlete with type 1 diabetes, which you can, if you know anything about diabetes, and that's the juvenile diabetes, the kind that you live with your whole life and how difficult it is. That's a pretty amazing feat right there. So you check out that film, even if you're not a Cubs fan, but who isn't a little bit, right? Okay, so then for scripted films, Moneyball, Bull Durham, and I'm kind of back and forth on this. I'm not sure Field of Dreams or 42 is higher on my list, because 42 just did such an amazing job of immersing you in that time and just putting you into Jackie's head and everything that he had to go through, and he could not see. Couldn't clap back like they do today. There was no Twitter. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being Jackie Robinson in the world of social media? Jesus. But that's what's going to happen to the woman. She's going to have to be able to handle that. And Howard Stern and the late night shows and all the other nonsense that's out there. I'm sure Fox News would have some great things to say about a woman professional baseball player. Yeah. So yeah, I think I gotta put 42 a little higher than Field of Dreams, even though Field of Dreams is sort of like the ultimate, just families, fathers and sons, missed opportunities, fathers and daughters. There's just so much about it. There's so much heart in that movie, and you want to, fix things from the past. You want to reconnect, and you want to live your dream, and there's so much there. So at this point on my list, yeah. And then The Rookie, which, based on a true story, because if it wasn't, you'd be like, yeah, no. But I love that movie. It makes me cry in the same 3 places every single time I see it, even though I've seen it, a million times. And then For Love of the Game, and I know this doesn't get on a lot of people's lists, but I've got it up there in my top 3 because I love the structure of it, and I love how the game part is just sucking you right along, and you're just like, is he gonna do this? Is he gonna do this? This is so improbable. Perfect game, really? And then there's this relationship part, which isn't, all kissy face and stuff. It's really about, I would imagine how challenging it would be to fall in love with a professional athlete because, And then, of course, we have League of Their Own, the highest grossing baseball movie of all time, which is about real women who some are my friends and their numbers are in my phone. How crazy is that? Highest grossing baseball movie of all time, $107 million. Probably more because it always seems to be on TV somewhere. And if anybody knows anybody at Sony, who I believe holds the rights now, but I believe it's Columbia that originally produced it, you might want to give them a little elbow in the side and be like, you know what? You've made so much money with this movie, and you have not shared that with the women who inspired the movie. From what I understand, it was money, but it was a pretty small amount of money. It was somewhere between the 85,000, which is one number that's in my head, and like 200,000, maybe 250,000, which is the other number in my head, which is what was given to them as sort of a life rights fee or, a licensing fee or permission type thing. Part of the original deal way before my time with the association. And of course, any other job pretty much in entertainment. So the actresses in the movie get paid every time the movie's shown. The director, or now the late Penny Marshall's estate will make money. The writers, kind of all the what they call the above the line talent gets paid every time the movie airs. And the women who inspired it, you got your check, 30 years ago, and, And so anyway, if anybody knows anybody or wants to start an online campaign or a petition or something, hit me up, because I just think that they should share. Because, like I said, it's the highest grossing baseball movie of all time. Interestingly enough, 42, the Jackie Robinson piece, is the second highest grossing baseball movie of all time. So 95 million. So that's a newer movie, so maybe that'll eventually surpass A League of Their Own. But it's kind of interesting, right? That every other movie is pretty much about white dudes playing a game. So it's kind of the ultimate white privilege thing. Except these two movies that are at the top that everybody wants to see is about women and about, the first black man to break through. So kind of interesting, right? So it's one of those things, like in Hollywood, they're always like, all the movies are made about white men, for white men, by white men, and yet the ones that aren't that perform better at the box office. Like a lot different. Like Field of Dreams is like 65 million. So that's not quite half of A League of Their Own, but yeah, it's a pretty big difference. It's not like it's like, 102 million, and it's not. So you can Google it. I'm telling you the truth. So that's 9 movies that I gave you. So for me, going off list a little bit, this is my number 10 movie. This right here is when the Red Sox won the World Series in 2004, and they made a DVD about it. And that is my all-time favorite baseball movie, because I can't express how emotional I get about it, because it just had never happened. In my dad's whole life, it had never happened, and it meant so much to him. And I believe this is the one that he's in. Right at the very beginning, they're starting out at spring training, and they're down there, and they're interviewing a bunch of people, and my dad goes, if they could just win it once in my lifetime, right to the camera. And that's in the movie, which... how can it not be your favorite movie? Because your dad's in it and your team wins and everything's awesome. So just to recap, This Old Cub, Knuckleball, Fastball for documentaries, Moneyball, which really explains the whole intricacy of like trading day and like all that kind of stuff, which is super great. Bull Durham, 42, Field of Dreams, The Rookie, For the Love of the Game, and A League of Their Own, and of course, get your own copy of the Red Sox winning the World Series. Other movies, not even gonna talk about them. The Natural, it's depressing and weird. Fever Pitch, friggin' Jimmy Kimmel is a Yankees fan, and the fact that he got to be in Fenway Park when they won the World Series, I can't get behind it. Plus the original movie, super depressing if you ever watched the British version that inspired that movie. Major League, they're just silly, you know, and I'm not saying I turn them off when they're on, but they're not on my top 10 list. So what are your top 10s, or your number one at least, you know? Please mention it in the comments. And like I said, if you know anybody in MLB, you know anybody at Sony Pictures, give them an elbow in the ribs about some of the things that they should change, because I think it would make a real difference in the world. And as always, I thank you for watching. Enjoy opening day, and we will see you on the bases.